The Battle of Midway erupted over the Pacific. June 4th, 1942 changed everything. 4 Japanese carriers burned in 5 minutes. Why Japan targeted Midway Pearl Harbor fell December 7th, 1941. Japan conquered half the Pacific in 6 months. Philippines burned, Malaya fell, Singapore surrendered. Admiral Yamamoto knew America's factories would crush Japan. He needed one more knockout blow. Midway Atoll sat 1,200 miles northwest of Hawaii. Tiny speck of land with a runway. But whoever controlled Midway controlled the approaches. Yamamoto planned to lure U.S. carriers there, destroy them in decisive battle. Japan's doctrine called it Kantai Kessen. One massive clash decides everything. Admiral Nagumo led the strike force, 4 heavy carriers, 248 planes, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, Hiryu, best pilots in the world aboard, veterans of Pearl Harbor and Indian Ocean. 2 battleships backed them up, 3 cruisers, 11 destroyers screened. Behind them sailed Yamamoto on super battleship Yamato. 72,000 tons of steel, 9 18-inch guns ready. Japanese felt invincible. They'd never lost a carrier battle, but they didn't know one thing. Americans had cracked their codes. U.S. codebreakers change everything. Commander Joseph Rochefort worked in Pearl Harbor's basement. His team broke Japanese naval code JN-25. They read enemy messages daily. Intercepts mentioned target AF repeatedly. Rochefort believed AF meant Midway. Washington doubted him. He devised a clever trap. Midway sent uncoded message about water problems. 2 days later, Japan reported AF had water issues. Proof positive. Admiral Nimitz trusted his codebreakers completely. He gathered every available carrier. Enterprise under Admiral Spruance carried 90 planes. Hornet sailed with 79 aircraft. Yorktown limped home from Coral Sea. Huge hole in her flight deck. 3 months repair needed minimum. Nimitz gave Pearl Harbor shipyard 72 hours. Workers labored around the clock, welded patches, replaced pumps, fixed wiring. Yorktown sailed damaged but operational. She carried 75 planes, 3 carriers total, 233 aircraft, outnumbered but positioned perfectly. Americans knew exactly where Japan would strike. They'd wait in ambush 200 miles northeast, hit first, hit hard, disappear. Calculated risk against superior force. Midway's garrison reinforced defenses frantically. Marines dug in on beaches. Anti-aircraft batteries positioned everywhere. 26 fighters ready on runways. Torpedo bombers stood by. B-17 bombers waited for targets. Everyone knew battle was coming. June 4th dawn, Japanese strike force approached Midway at 3 a.m. 4 carriers steamed in formation. 25 knots through light fog. Crews prepared aircraft for launch. 0 fighters warmed engines. Val dive bombers checked bomb loads. Kate torpedo bombers carried 800-kilogram bombs. Target, Midway's runways and hangars. 4:30 a.m. first wave launched. 108 planes roared aloft. 36 fighters, 36 dive bombers, 36 level bombers. Lieutenant Tomonaga led them south. 240 miles to target. On carrier's deck crews prepared second wave. 93 planes armed with torpedoes. Ready to strike any American ships. Standard Japanese doctrine required reserves. Nobody knew U.S. carriers were already nearby. Midway's radar detected incoming at 5:20 a.m., 93 miles out. Air raid sirens wailed across the atoll. Every flyable plane scrambled. 26 Wildcat and Buffalo fighters climbed fast. Torpedo bombers and dive bombers launched toward Japanese fleet. B-17s followed at high altitude. Best defense is offense. Fighters met 50 miles from Midway. Zeros dove from above. Speed and altitude advantage overwhelming. Buffaloes were hopelessly obsolete machines. Japanese slaughtered them mercilessly. 17 of 26 American fighters fell. Lieutenant Cunningham died in first pass. Captain MacArthur scored 1 kill before burning. Major Parks led survivors into hopeless counterattack. He died trying to ram a bomber. Only 9 pilots returned alive. Their planes barely held together. Japanese bombers broke through almost untouched. Anti-aircraft batteries opened furious fire. Sky filled with black bursts. Machine guns traced patterns overhead. Japanese pressed through regardless. Bombs smashed hangars. Fuel tanks exploded. Runways cratered. Barracks burned. AA guns shot down 3 Vals and 2 Kates. But damage was severe, though not total. Tomonaga radioed at 7:05 a.m. Second strike required for complete suppression. That message doomed 4 carriers. Nagumo's fatal decisions. Admiral Nagumo received Tomonaga's report at 7:05. He faced impossible choice. Second wave stood ready with torpedoes. But no American fleet detected yet. Tomonaga needed bombs for Midway. Logic said neutralize base first. 7:15 Nagumo ordered rearmament. Switch torpedoes for bombs. Decks erupted in frantic activity. Hundreds of mechanics swarmed planes. Unbolted torpedoes weighing nearly a ton each. rolled them to elevators, lowered them to hangars, hoisted bombs from magazines, mounted them on wings, removed torpedoes left on deck. No time for proper storage. Each torpedo packed 650 pounds of explosives. 728 changed everything. Scout plane from cruiser tone finally reported. Enemy ships sighted 240 miles northeast. The scout had launched 40 minutes late. Catapult malfunction delayed him. Nagumo demanded clarification immediately. What ships? Any carriers? How many? Scout went silent 10 minutes. Those 10 minutes felt eternal. Everything depended on the answer. 7:45 the reply came. Apparently one carrier accompanying enemy force. Nagumo froze. First wave returning from Midway nearly out of fuel. 108 planes needed immediate landing, or they'd ditch in ocean. Decks jammed with bombs and torpedoes, fuel hoses everywhere. Second wave half rearmed. He decided to recover aircraft first, refuel them completely, rearm strike group with torpedoes again, then attack Americans with full organized force. Textbook Japanese doctrine. Mass concentrated strike guarantees destruction. But it ignored one thing. Americans already knew his position. Their planes already airborne, already hunting him. Torpedo squadron sacrifice. American carriers launched at 7:02 a.m. Spruance risked maximum range attack. Enterprise and Hornet sent 116 planes. Yorktown added 35 more later. All flew separate courses, poorly coordinated. Many squadrons lost each other en route. Torpedo Squadron 8 from Hornet found Japanese first. Commander John Waldron led 15 Devastators. Slow, obsolete planes, max speed 200 mph. Zeros could hit 330 mph. Torpedoes required drop from 100 feet altitude. At 130 mph. Perfect targets for fighters. Waldron spotted Japanese at 9:20 a.m. 4 carriers in formation surrounded by escorts. His fighter escort had gotten lost. VT-8 was alone against entire Japanese fleet. Waldron didn't hesitate 1 second. He led squadron into attack anyway. Descended toward wavetops, knowing it meant death. Japanese Zeros swarmed down instantly. Dozens of fighters firing 20mm cannons. Devastators burned one after another. Fell smoking into ocean. Left oil slicks and debris. Survivors pressed on toward targets. Dropped torpedoes that mostly missed or failed to explode. Destroyer AA guns finished stragglers. 10 minutes VT-8 ceased to exist. All 15 planes shot down. 29 men killed. One survivor, Ensign George Gay. He escaped sinking plane, inflated life raft, drifted watching entire battle unfold. Torpedo 6 from Enterprise attacked next. 14 planes under Lieutenant Lindsay. Different angle hoping for surprise. Zeros slaughtered them too. 10 of 14 fell burning. No hits achieved, just death and wreckage. Torpedo 3 from Yorktown followed. 12 planes, Commander Massey leading. Lost 10 of 12 aircraft. By 10:30 a.m. torpedo squadrons were annihilated. 41 planes launched. 41 shot down. 0 hits on Japanese ships. Seemed like Japanese victory inevitable. Americans wasted their striking power. But heroes accomplished one thing. They dragged Japanese fighters to water level, made them burn ammunition and fuel, scattered defenders' attention. When dive bombers arrived minutes later, sky above carriers was nearly empty. Decks jammed with planes and ordnance. Perfect setup for catastrophe. 5 minutes. That changed war. Lieutenant Commander Wade McCluskey led Enterprise dive bombers. 33 dauntless aircraft. He'd flown over empty ocean an hour, burning precious fuel. Couldn't find Japanese at expected coordinates. They'd changed course dodging attacks. 10:05 McCluskey made crucial decision. Turned north on intuition. 17 minutes later, spotted destroyer wake. Ship racing full speed, catching main force. McCluskey followed the trail. 10:22 as Dauntlesses burst through clouds. 5,000 meters altitude directly over Japanese. Below 4 carriers spread perfectly. Decks jammed with aircraft engines running. Mechanics swarming in white coveralls. Refueling planes everywhere. Hauling torpedoes around. Picture screamed vulnerability. 0 fighters were down low. Finishing last torpedo bombers. Couldn't climb fast enough for intercept. McCluskey split his formation. 17 planes attacked Kaga. 16 planes Lieutenant Best led hit Akagi. Dauntlesses rolled into dives. 70-degree angle, nearly vertical. Plummeting 400 mph. Pilots fought G-forces pressing them down. Kept targets centered in bomb sites. 1,500 feet released bombs. 500 or 1,000 pounders dropped free. Then pulled out hard. 6 to 7 Gs crushed them. First 1,000-pound bomb hit Akagi 10:26 a.m. Struck aft elevator. Punched through flight deck. Exploded in upper hangar. 18 fueled Kate torpedo bombers sat there. Torpedoes mounted on racks. First torpedo detonated. Chain reaction followed instantly. 18 torpedoes exploded in seconds. Entire hangar became inferno. 1,000-degree temperatures melted bulkheads. punched through decks downward, ignited lower hangar. Ammunition and aviation gas exploded. Second and third bombs hit flight deck center. Demolished flight control bridge. Killed officers instantly. Penetrated magazines. Fires went uncontrollable immediately. Damage control systems never activated. Flames blocked access to controls. Kaga took 4 direct hits simultaneously. 30-second interval. First bomb demolished bow section. Second penetrated hangar. Third exploded near island, killing Admiral Okada. Fourth hit ammunition magazine. Subsequent detonation ripped hull apart. Bow section lifted 10 meters. Crashed back, breaking keel. Same minute, 17 Dauntlesses from Yorktown found Soryu. Lieutenant Max Leslie commanding. 3,000-pound bomb struck in 20 seconds. Carrier flashed into torch instantly. Refueling operations everywhere. Fuel hoses across deck. One spark ignited everything. 10-story fireball erupted. 3 Japanese carriers burning simultaneously. Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, all mortally wounded in 5 minutes. 10:22 to 10:27 a.m. 5 minutes when luck met courage. When sacrifice of torpedo crews cleared sky. When dive bomber accuracy didn't fail. Perfect storm of destruction. Shattered backbone of Imperial fleet. Carrier's death. Agony fires on carriers can't be stopped. Aviation gasoline burns at any temperature, explodes from slightest spark. Flows through holes flooding lower spaces. When fire reaches ammunition magazines. Chain reaction begins, rips ships apart from inside. Akagi agonized all day. Crew fought fires to last moment, pumped seawater constantly, tried dumping burning planes overboard. Temperature in hangars reached levels melting steel bulkheads. Paint ran off guns. Decks sagged under heat. Evening, Nagumo ordered flagship scuttled. He transferred to cruiser Nagara. Destroyers fired 4 torpedoes into burning hulk. Akagi wouldn't sink. Burned through night drifting ghost. Next morning finally went under. 267 crew lost. Kaga exploded 1725. Series internal detonations lifted bow. Keel snapped with terrible screech. Carrier dove in 3 minutes. 814 sailors drowned. 5-kilometer deep abyss. Soryu held longer. Captain Yanagimoto refused evacuation. Sent crew to destroyers. Stayed on bridge alone. 1913 another explosion tore hull. Carrier rolled keel up. Showed red rusted bottom. Went down with 718 dead. 4th carrier Hiryu survived accidentally. Steamed 10 miles from main group. Covered northern flank. Missed first American strike. Rear Admiral Yamaguchi commanded. Fanatical aggressive tactician. Decided revenge at any cost. Gathered all operational aircraft. 18 dive bombers, 6 fighters. Third of normal strength. All that remained combat ready. Hiryu strikes back. Noon first wave from Hiryu found Yorktown. American carrier 60 miles northeast. Recovering aircraft. Radar detected Japanese approaching. Scrambled 8 Wildcats for intercept. Couldn't stop everyone. 3 Val dive bombers broke through. First bomb penetrated flight deck. Exploded in smokestack. Knocked out 3 of 9 boilers. Speed dropped to 16 knots. Second bomb destroyed boiler room. Stopped ship completely. Third exploded near island. Killed 37 men. Ignited aviation gas storage. Yorktown crew showed incredible skill. Extinguished fires in 20 minutes, restarted 5 boilers, restored 19 knots speed, patched holes, pumped water, 14:05 recovering aircraft again. Like nothing happened. Japanese second wave approached 14:30. 10 Kate torpedo bombers, 6 Zeros. Pilots thought they attacked different ship. Yorktown they'd seen burning couldn't recover this fast. They attacked multiple directions, broke through fighters and AA fire, lost 5 planes, 2 torpedoes slammed port side seconds apart, penetrated torpedo defense, flooded boiler rooms, engine spaces. Yorktown lost power completely, listed 26 degrees left, no electricity, no communications, fires and holds. Captain Buckmaster 1600 ordered abandon ship. 2,114 crew went overside. Destroyers picked them up, but carrier still floated, drifted ghost among waves. They'd try towing tomorrow, not knowing Japanese submarine already hunting. Retribution for Yorktown American recon quickly located Hiryu. Tracked returning Japanese planes' courses. Enterprise radar painted them clearly. Gave bearing to last Japanese carrier. 110 miles west. 15:05:24 Dauntlesses from Enterprise launched. Included 10 planes transferred from dying Yorktown, refueled and rearmed. Hiryu maneuvered full speed. Zeros tried intercepting attackers. AA guns spat shells skyward. 4 bombs penetrated anyway. 2 forward, 2 near island. Hiryu flashed into flames. Flight deck packed with fueled planes. Preparing third strike wave. Fires consumed Hiryu 6 hours. 2:15 a.m. June 5th Admiral Yamaguchi ordered scuttle. He stayed aboard with Captain Kaku. 417 sailors. Chose death by Bushido code. Losing all 4 carriers meant unbearable shame. Yamamoto, learning of catastrophe, tried salvaging operation. Yamato and heavy ships charged toward Midway, hoped luring Americans into night gun battle. Japanese superiority in optics and training might turn tide. Spruance wouldn't bite, stayed beyond gun range. Midnight Yamamoto made terrible decision. Cancel operation. Retreat. Without air cover, his battleships were sitting ducks. American dive bombers would slaughter them tomorrow. Battle continues. 2 more days battle lasted through June 6th. 5th June, American planes sank heavy cruiser Makuma. She'd collided with sister ship Mogami at night. Couldn't develop speed for escape. 6th June, Japanese submarine I-168 found drifting Yorktown. Fired 4 torpedoes. 2 hit carrier, 2 hit destroyer Hammond alongside. Hammond broke in half. Sank 4 minutes. 80 men drowned. Yorktown capsized morning June 7th. Went under finally. Japan lost 4 heavy carriers, heavy cruiser, 248 planes, 3,507 men, hundreds of irreplaceable veteran pilots. Took years training them. U.S. lost 1 carrier, 1 destroyer, 147 planes, 307 men. Exchange catastrophically unfavorable for Japan. They never recovered from this defeat. Shifted to defense all fronts. Midway's legacy Battle of Midway became Turning Point Pacific War. After June 4, 1942, Japan never advanced strategically. Loss of 4 carriers stripped sea control. American industry already building replacements by dozens. Essex class, Independence class. Japanese barely managed few light substitutes. Codebreaking played decisive role. Without radio intelligence, Nimitz wouldn't know where to wait. Japan would have captured Midway unopposed, threatened Hawaii, but American cryptographers gave fleet chance for ambush, turned Japanese trap into their own doom. Torpedo bomber courage mattered enormously. They died almost completely, but dragged fighters from dive bombers, created conditions for main strike, memory of devastator squadrons, lives forever, symbol of sacrifice for victory. Luck played its part too. If Tone's scout launched on time, Nagumo gets warning 30 minutes earlier, launches fighters for intercept, but catapult malfunction delayed plane, gave Americans 5-minute window, when Japanese decks were defenseless. Today Midway remains symbol. How intelligence beats numbers. How courage and tactics defeat superiority. Japanese came confident of victory, lost battle before first shot. Americans read their plans, waited in ambush, turned enemy overconfidence into destruction. This battle teaches modern warfare lesson. Information matters more than armor. One perfect moment changes everything, if you know when and where to strike. That's why Midway entered textbooks. Model using reconnaissance and aviation against fleet. Relied on old doctrines, underestimated opponent. Paid with 4 carriers, thousands of lives. 3 days fighting over endless ocean.